So welcome to 305 Vox Populi podcast, and this is Mayor Manny Sid. We have a great guest today, the president of Miami-Dade College North Campus, Fermin Vazquez. Before we get to Fermin, I wanted to give a shout out to some of the folks here that help us with this podcast every single week. We're powered by Miami Lakes Auto Mall. Thank you to Fred Senra. We appreciate you with the sponsorship. You allowed us to move this forward. They're located at Miami Lakes Auto Mall. Is at 16600 Northwest 57th Avenue in Miami Lakes. You can reach them at 305-455-3540. And our film production team that does an amazing job. It wouldn't be possible without them. The Matter Lakes Academy Bears, they do a phenomenal job. As you can see, the quality keeps increasing week by week by week. We're learning. This is turning into an incredible real-time class, so I really appreciate them because they're the future's bright over there. They're doing a great job. Mr. Vazquez, welcome to the podcast.
Mr. Mayor, thank you for inviting me. And I got to echo, that school is really doing great. Those students are doing great. I had an opportunity to talk to them a little bit earlier today, and they're really showcasing what their talents are and what the school is teaching them to get ready for in the workforce. So congrats on this podcast. I think it's a great thing for the community. It's a great thing for you to be able to reach out to them through this digital platform, this digital age. So congrats, and thank you for having me here today.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate you. I know you helped us out a while back when we wanted to do a debate, right?
Yeah,
a town debate.
yeah.
You kind of made it happen. It fell apart. COVID, we couldn't do it. And you were like, hey, we got you.
We got you. Yeah.
And you guys turned it into, it was like a presidential debate.
Yeah.
So the folks watching at home, we host a bi-yearly debate for town council candidates, mayor, council. This past year, we had several seats up. We had 2 seats up. I had one re-election unopposed. So did Luis Collazo. So we had an issue. We didn't know where to host this. How do we take this to the next level? And you made it happen. I walked in there. I was like, man, this is like, we can call one of these major networks and host one of these debates. I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah, and I told you then, and I'll tell you now, that this should be an annual thing. Or whenever you're coming up for elections, our partnership with the city of Miami Lakes has been true and true year after year, and we are committed to that partnership. Even the moderators you got, I mean, what a lineup, right? And we were able to bring this all together for this community. And I'm just glad that you thought of us as a partner. And I want you to continue thinking of us as that partner as we move forward.
No, consider it done. In 2 years, that's going to be exactly where we're going to host those debates because you set the bar high. But Miami-Dade College, especially North Campus, holds a very dear and near place in my heart. When I was a senior in high school and I said, you know what, I'm going to go to Miami-Dade College. I started off at the North Campus. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was 18 years old. I was kind of all over the place, right? Like every 18-year-old, we're trying to figure out where we're going to go in the world. And I said, oh, let me try out the politics. Let me take some political science classes. Let me see how that goes. I had 2 professors, which I think are still teaching there. Dr. Anna Ward. I don't know if Anna Ward's or Eloy Velasquez. I know is definitely still an adjunct professor.
An adjunct professor.
So Eloy's still a good friend of mine. He lives here in the town. Dr. Anna Ward, what at the time was the mayor of the city of El Portal. She's a chair of the county CITT, but they were my first teachers at Miami-Dade College at North Campus. They really inspired me to kind of like start moving forward in public service, and that class, those classes that they taught and that keep being taught at Miami-Dade College, especially on North Campus, inspired me, to be honest with you, to do what I'm doing today. So, and getting into that, talking about Miami-Dade College being the entry for many people in our community, kind of, ensuring that education is the equalizer in our society, which is something that you do every single day. Your experience, what kind of 24 years of experience in public higher education, ensuring that folks really have those opportunities to do well in life. I mean, what brought you to follow that path in your life, to make sure that people got good education, that they had opportunities? Why do what you do? What's the why?
So Mayor Sid, it's the story. It's the story of our students. It's the story that you just finished telling me of the experience that you had at the North Campus. So many times I tell my colleagues, I feel like I shouldn't even get paid for what I do. We tell our youth that we should always encompass that career that we set out, that we have a mission. And that's exactly what we do at MDC. Um, Many stories just like yours and how you were accomplished and the mentorship opportunities that our faculty give to our students really create the greatest leaders in our community, in our state, and in our nation. I think you're one of those success stories I can think about. Me personally, I'm an immigrant to this country. I was born in Cuba, came over as a very small child, but I saw power in education. I saw transformative change in people's lives through education. I had this opportunity to join MDC and really have the opportunity to see how students grow at MDC, how leadership grows at MDC, and how it serves this community. So being part of this vehicle of this great institution that started from very humble beginnings. If you look at the history of MDC and where it all started, which was North Campus, where you were at, right, and where I get to be this president right now, it's humbling to know that we started under a state board of education. And a local board of education that really looked at us like the next grade levels after high school. But we've become so much more. We've become that engine that now is providing qualified workforce professionals ready to fill the need and the gaps of this community in so many areas of expertise, right? And we work with our local partners, our industry leaders, to really guide us to set programs that would embody what they're looking for in that qualified applicant. So we're working with the community with their needs. I'm sure you're aware of, but right now North Campus is serving as a FEMA vaccination site, and we're working with state officials, local officials to make sure we serve our community. So becoming part of MDC is so much more. It's about helping our talent pipeline. It's about helping our community as a whole and being part of a greater mission. It's humbling. I feel blessed to have this opportunity. For whatever time I'm here, I want to be that engine for our community, that people feel they have a home at MDC and that North Campus is that home for them. I speak about your community and what the great things you're doing in the city of Miami Lakes. And I want all the community here to feel that North Campus is their home, that they could just take a short car ride over or take a bus ride over and feel that they've got that programming that they need to be successful in life and find that job that they wanted, that career path that they want to seek out, and we're just happy to be part of that story, part of that future that so many young people have here in Miami-Dade County.
Man, so I appreciate you sharing that, because especially the part where you talked about it being your passion, not making money, right? And that's where I tell this to young folks all the time. When you go for a job interview and it's something that you're passionate about, don't even ask about the money, right?
Yeah.
Money will come. Look,
Yeah.
the reality is if you're good at your passion, you love what you do, money will come because the talent level, people see that. They saw it in you. Now you're the president of North Campus because you have that passion. So I appreciate you sharing that, because I think it's important for future generations to hear that, because I hear it all the time. It happens here, it happens at the restaurant, it happens in different places where people interview and the first question I have, look, how much am I going to make? Is this about money or this is about your passion? Like, what is this? And you kind of get a deep dive into what folks are all about. So I appreciate you talking about that. So North Campus, man, those are some big shoes to kind of jump in, because what the North Campus means for many of us, like I gave you the example of me, but it is the door of entry, right, for so many people. When I was an aide in the Florida legislature, Eduardo Padron used to come see us all the time. One thing I loved, appreciated always about Eduardo Padron, he always came by himself. He didn't have a big entourage. This guy's a president of the largest college in the nation, right, in the world, right?
Right.
He was always by himself, very humble. And there were times he would just sit down and chat with me. And one thing he would always talk about, how important it was for access. Everybody needs to have access to higher education. That's something that he did. But obviously, jumping into what the North Campus means, I mean, those are huge, huge, huge shoes. So talk to us about that, the day-to-day basis. what's going on at the North Campus? I mean, how do you feel the day you got that call and you said, "Hey, we need you to step up. We need you to take that role." What shed some light on that, some of the background on that.
So, um, I guess all of us could relate to an experience of being on a roller coaster, right? And all of a sudden you're sitting on this roller coaster. You know it's going to be a great ride, right? And as you cliff off of that roller coaster, you feel these things, these little feelings in your stomach, right? That moment that I got that call, there was this moment of exhilaration, right? But this is my moment, but it's so much more. And it's talking about access and opportunity. That's what we serve at North Campus is that access and that opportunity to our community. That when other places they might have said no, it doesn't work out for you. No, you're better off going to a technical school. We say yes, we could offer that opportunity. Yes, you might not have your high school diploma, but we'll work with you to get your GED and get you in classes. Yes, you might not know what you want to do yet in life, but we're going to give you an opportunity and set you up with these different classes so you could go through these experiences yourself and kind of think about what's your next step. Yes, we're going to develop you as a student and as a professional to be ready for the workforce. And just like you went through that experience with Dr. Eduardo Padron, the institution continues to be the same. And it becomes that trailblazer. Think about this. Just this year, President Madeline Pumariega, a very own bred president built here at Miami-Dade College, right? A Hialeah girl, right? Got an opportunity to now become the college president for the largest college in the nation.
That's amazing.
I mean, where can you tell that story? And just like Eduardo Padron touched you, he touched many of us. I say this in a very humbling format, and people ask me, "How are you doing? How are things going?" I said, I come from a legacy of leaders like Eduardo Padron, like Madeline Pumariega, like Malou Harrison. And you think after you get exposure and you get that ability to hear from them and provide you those leadership opportunities and guidance, it sets you up for success. And I'm sure that you, in those small conversations you have with Dr. Padron, you're probably saying, wow, there's a wealth of knowledge there. What could you pick up from that? Be a student of life. Be a student of people around you. So the North Campus continues to be that beacon in the community. So many different programs that we offer. Two of the newest programs that one of them is a brand new facility, and the other one's a brand new program that we're kicking off, which is really calling for the need of our community. We're transforming what used to be the gymnasium, maybe when you were a student. We're transforming that to our new home of the School of Justice. And that's going to be a training center for all of our basic law enforcement cadets, all our police officers in our community, for our corrections officers. It's going to support our fire academy. So here's this brand new center that we're building, and we're transforming what used to be an airplane hangar when North Campus was really an extension of a military base in World War II. And we're transforming this one hangar that became a gym that so many high school teams won championships in, right?
Yep.
And so many big games were being played there, when the Stingarees were winning and the Thoroughbreds were winning and they're playing there. They're playing now. This facility is taking on new life. It's taking on a new life of becoming a home of the School of Justice. And it's going to see the next chiefs, lieutenants, majors coming through there. Maybe an FBI director is going to make its door through there, and now that's what North Campus is. It transforms itself. It transforms lives in the students. And then the next program that I'm really excited about bringing back, and I was just talking to students about it, is we're building the home of the Artificial Intelligence Center for Miami-Dade College. And artificial intelligence is something that's touching so many degrees, so many different programs, so many different professions. It's touching the automotive industry, it's touching the engineering industry, it's touching the marketing industry. These are analytic tools, and artificial intelligence is really shaping how businesses run, how we as professional organizations run their business, and to have a stake and an opportunity to offer those program offerings to our community is key. And we think of AI for all. We're not thinking of AI for just one discipline. It could be the next person working for a Tesla or even a Ford, or it could be working for Google, or it could be working for Amazon or AWS services. So many industries. And we talk about Miami and what Miami is transforming itself to be, and that we're bringing ourselves into that conversation and building that artificial intelligence centers with industry partners' input. So as we built that center, we reached out to the IBMs of the world, we reached out to the Amazons of the world, we reach out to the Microsofts of the world and say, hey, what do we need to develop to be able to meet the industry need of tomorrow? Because like technology, it's everlasting and it's changing constantly, right? And we work together with our industry partners. We work together with our faculty, with the discipline, with the academic dean, with the discipline dean, and to build this center that at the end of fall 2021, we're going to unveil. And it's going to bring different programming opportunities to all these students that they might be looking at engineering, but now need a specialty in AI because they know that AI is influence engineering decisions. So these are the things that we're bringing at North Campus and bringing to our community.
No, I think that's phenomenal. It's a great segue into another question that I had for you. It's regarding what's happening in Miami, right? The Miami tech scene and everything that's happening. I'm a big fan of this big of the change in culture, right? People were saying, Miami's not a tech place. I remember Manny Medina back then talking about it, trying to create it. I'm happy to see it grow. We're part of it here in the town, where we're going to be one of the first cities to accept Bitcoin via our processing company, PayPal, to pay for services here in our community, Bitcoin and different types of cryptos. But the one thing that and that I kept seeing was this whole idea that, hey, we have to bring in people from New York, Chicago, California to do these jobs in Miami. I'm like, wait a second. There's incredible amounts of talent in Florida to do this. In Miami-Dade County, like for example, there's a Miami Lakes resident who is the expert on creating Bitcoin mining programs. This guy literally travels the nation building them, and he lives here in our community. And yet those stories don't get told. That kind of ecosystem exists here. But this whole idea that I keep hearing is like, no, we got to bring in folks from different parts of the country to do these jobs. No. Miami-Dade College, and you hit it on the head, is doing these things, all the different institutions. But I know you guys are gearing up for that, but how, besides everything, how do you guys see our education keeping up with that demand coming through? I know you guys are doing the AI. Anything else that you all are doing to keep up with the demand? Because I know it's going to keep growing, and that's just a reality, right? That's
It's true. It is a reality. And I think you hit it right on the head of the nail, right? You're right there. Miami has always been this city of entrepreneurship. You talk about that resident that's really specializing in cryptocurrency and is being called out for everywhere in the nation, right? But I also think about the immigrant that came from Cuba that has their little business that's growing and flourishing, So we've always been a city of innovation, and we continue to grow and innovate ourselves. Miami-Dade College is offering so many different programs, and it's been building up to get ready for this moment for years. From creating its Akota Center downtown to cybersecurity to magic. These are all programs. The Bit Center. Now we have a new business information technology center downtown. We have the Artificial Intelligence Center now being brought online. And we're having conversations how with our industry partners, where's the gaps that we need to fill? The talent pipeline in Miami is incredible. You look at the high-performing students that are coming out of our high schools. You look at a school like Matter Lakes and what they're doing, what their principal is doing with these students at high achieving. The students that today are putting on this program and the quality program they're putting on, it's because the talent is there. There's no need to bring them in from New York. After the companies figure out that Miami's the place to be at, we need to be offer that talent pipeline, so they don't need to go out there and bring that person in from New York. And that's exactly what we're doing. But how do we do that? We do it through industry partnerships. The college is nimble enough to understand that the industry is the one that's going to tell us what the needs are. And then we build programs. with our faculty and our discipline deans that shape to support that industry so that when that student comes and graduates out of Miami-Dade College, they say, that's a special programming, maybe Azure or AWS services. They've already got that in their tool belt of different of knowledge, so that when that employer looks at that student and say, you know what, there's little to no training involved here. It's just getting him in the door and getting him to work. Like you said, that resident's probably working out of his house and he's making change, right? It may be the same scenario. Just give them what the project is, and they're going to run with it. It's great to see how much talent is in our students, and being able to develop that, being part of that story, right? That so many of us have, and as we build that story, giving them the opportunity of the background of what we could offer, how we could get them prepared, and then providing them internship opportunities. Now, so here's the industry telling us what they need in the program, right? And now, after you get the industry to tell them, you get them ready, and then you send them back to the industry and say, hey, I've got a student. He made it through the program, the same program that you gave input that we developed for you in mind. And now they come back to that internship opportunity. And guess what? A few months later, they're a hired employee making a very good wage, a competitive wage. And it's everything that, that Tesla was working for, everything that Google was looking for, everything that Amazon was looking for, everything PayPal was looking for, right? So that's what our niche is at Miami-Dade College. And that's what makes us really a cutting edge college here in our community.
That's phenomenal. We got about 5 to 7 minutes left in the podcast, but one thing that always sticks out to me is Miami-Dade's motto: opportunity changes everything. And I'll share a quick story on my end. I had failed the 6th grade. I got kicked out of 2 schools. I wasn't the best student. Got kicked out of my basketball team when I was a junior because I had like a 1.5 grade GPA. Being honest with you, then I had a lot of people give up on me, right? I was like, man, this is tough. So when I went to the North Campus, that motto like sticks with me today because it's true. That opportunity changed everything for me. What does it mean to you every day? Having that model right next to you. Hey, opportunity changes everything. I know what it did for me. I know what it's done for me, and hopefully I can inspire other future generations to go in the same way. But what does it mean to you on a personal level, that opportunity, that model?
So it means so much more. So much, just like it meant for you. Very similar to you. I have a rough beginning in life. Maybe at the high school level, I remember my sophomore year, Coach Ball. He was on the 72 Dolphins, by the way. Wow. So this guy, big guy, wore his ring, scary kind of, but when he's your advisor from your freshman year, you kind of go with him. And he says, and I remember my sophomore year, we didn't have dual enrollment back then. He says to me, hey, you've got too many credits carrying over. I'm ready to graduate you. So just after your junior year, just don't come back. We're going to give you this extra couple of classes here and move on in life. And I walked into the college classroom. I was like 16 at the time. And then life hit me, I got to tell you, I was married at 18, dropped out of college. And sure enough, in short order, I said to myself, you know what? I need to get back to school. Miami-Dade College didn't close a door on me. Even though I dropped out and I ended up with a bunch of bad grades that last semester was on, they didn't say that we weren't going to admit you back in. You know what they said? Let's guide you to success, one class at a time. And let's get you back on track in your career. So that's who we are. We are that institution of opportunity. Just like the motto says, opportunity changes everything. That's who we are, and we live by it. Because life happens in every one of us in different ways. And we have to understand how we could support that student for success without without hurting the academic rigor in the program. No, it's figuring out what the challenges that person has and working around it. Our schedules are flexible. We're in a COVID pandemic right now. And within a few weeks, we transitioned to an online service and we took all of our programs online to continue offering that educational opportunity to all of our students, right? Many other institutions weren't nimble enough and weren't ready to transition, but we were able to do it. So, and we reach out to the students and we engage with them and say, hey, do you have everything? Did you have a laptop? Are you ready to go? And many of our students say, hey, I don't even have a laptop. What do? We had these laptop drives where we told all of our students, come on down, pick up your laptop, and continue on with your classwork. Because we understand that all of our gaps are different. And how do we fill those gaps as an institution? That's what makes us so special, that we meet the student. The student doesn't have to come to us. We meet with them. And when they do come to us, we understand them. We talk to them. We understand what their challenges are. And then we have a follow-up to that. I think about our advisement model, and I think about how even after you end up with a semester, we're currently going through and we're looking at our different gateway classes, that ENC 1101, that first English class, right?
I remember that.
Right? And sometimes students don't find success. But why we're different is because we reach out. We reach out. We're now reaching out during the semester. We reach out after and we say, hey, what happened? Well, this, that, okay. Look, we got the lab here. We can help you with this tutoring. We can help you set up with a class that meets your schedule and your demand. Do we go to a virtual blended class where you have some face-to-face time and then you do the other time on the computer, right? So we understand what the needs of our students are and we meet them halfway, right? And we let the student know what they need to do to meet us halfway and we come together. And that's how we find success. Life is about gains and understanding that you're heading in the right direction. And when you're down and out, MDC is here to support you. And we want to make sure that how we support you is with career opportunities and programs that get ready for you, that when you graduate, there's that employer waiting to hire you, waiting to provide you an opportunity for what you learned in college so that you could get that high-paying wage jobs. And the data is there. The information is there at a state level. Students that go to the workforce with a college degree make more money over the life of their career. I'm not making this up. You could go back to information on that, and the data tools. And I know you know it, Mayor. Look at yourself. A complete success story, how you turned around your life. And like that, we could go from student to student, and they'll all have a little bit story. And you know what makes us, especially the North Campus, so special is the amount of first-generation students that we have. I know you've heard Dr. Padron's story, that when he graduated high school, he was sent off to a technical institution, right? He was said, no, you're not good enough for Harvard or you're not good enough for an Ivy League. But Miami-Dade College opened its doors. Like him, MDC opened the doors to me, opened the doors to our current president, and so many of the leaders that we serve this community. And that's what we want to continue being, that beacon of hope, understanding, and really working with you to meet your educational goals,
Opportunity definitely changes everything. You hit it on the head. So as we wrap up, any questions you got for me as we're about to close out the podcast?
Yeah, I do. So, as I drive in to City Hall and I make a right on Cowpen Road,
okay,
right? I think of the evolution of Miami Lakes. And I know that you're born and bred, this city here in Miami Lakes.
Yep.
And I want to hear how you feel about the story of growth and evolution of this city. Because to me, it's been outstanding. I told you I was an immigrant. I first went to New Jersey, bounced back to Miami, and I was that Hialeah, Miami Lakes and East Hialeah boy that really raised. And I remember driving down Miami Lakes and seeing just plain fields with people with cows. It was almost like a destination tour of watching agriculture in the middle of an urban area. But I want to hear about you and what that's looked like and how exciting, how you feel about being mayor of this city right now.
So that's a great question. The role that the cow plays in Miami Lakes is so. I mean, it's on our logo. You see it on our town seal, right? It's right over there. You see the
Yeah.
cow, right on there. But what's interesting is when the town got first built, it was like an incredible destination. Everybody wanted to be here. Everybody wanted to go to Main Street. We kind of went through years of stagnation. You know, we had some visionaries. Mr. Collins was a the dean of architecture for Harvard. He designed the whole town, designed the walkability, everything. So we were above till today. It gets taught in urban planning classes all over the nation. The way that the town was master planned, it was a master planned community. But what happened was from the late 90s to maybe 2010, 12, 13, we went through a period of stagnation, right? Where we were happy where we were way back then. It was the talk was, well, what Miami Lakes was when Shula lived here, when the 72 Dolphins lived here, when Main Street was a place to be, and surrounding communities started eating our lunch. You know, it's just a reality. You had Pines said, hey, I'm going to build Pembroke Gardens. Kind of blew us out of the water. Weston built their Weston downtown. Doral built their downtown. So what happened was a lot of the people that started investing and the people that wanted to stay here started moving out. So we said we have to do something about this. How do we move forward? And it wasn't easy, right? Every time that you take on an ingrained thought process, you're going to have people that are going to be very upset. So I said, and our planning staff and the Graham companies, how do we revive Main Street? So we did something called the Town Center District, and that was the first area of town that we kind of came together. We rezoned all of this. We rezoned the on-street parking. We rezoned this building here. But what we did was, with a thought process, hey, we're going to put some retail on the bottom floor. At the beginning, the amount of people against it was, it was a lot of folks completely against it. I was a believer, look, we have to do this. The reason why we have to do this for future generations. Now that it's built, and now that we're seeing all these restaurants coming in, like the Ruby Tuesday, you just had one of the top Italian steakhouses sign a lease deal to move in there. Cella's Market, Cella's Beer Garden, 107 Taste, the movie theater. Some good stuff going to happen with the movie theater very soon. It's going to be announced. So what we did was inject an incredible amount of energy and disposable income into an area of the center core of our town that needed it. And now you're starting to see it come back to life. So that is one of the things that I'm most proudest of, is being the advocate, because I was the face of all this. I mean, we went through a 2-year period where I'm telling you, the amount of criticism that we got was out of this world. But today, a lot of those same critics are like, you know what, you guys were right. Look what's happening now. Look at all the retail. Look at the revival of Main Street. We're doing a senior village where we're going to have 65 and over housing. We're going to have an ALF, a skilled nursing site, an Olympic-sized pool, a senior center that the town's going to operate. That also took a lot of push. Now that it's moving forward, everybody's like, man, this is amazing. So the big lesson that I always try to teach folks, look, taking on an establishment, an ingrained establishment, it's not easy. It's not fun. You're going to take the hits along the way, but you got to do what's right. And you got to try to mold consensus as much as you can. You can't seek it, right? You seek consensus, you'll never find it, right? You're going to be running around all day you'll never get 100%, but at the very least, you got to try to mold it. And today, molding that consensus, our approval ratings as a community is at ridiculous heights. I mean, we're at like 90%. I mean, that I ran some internal polls during my campaign that showed those numbers. Some people were like, yeah, no way. The town just did a townwide survey, a scientific survey, and it's at 90%. So now everybody's looking at it like, even the surveyor was like, this is, compared to the rest of the nation, compared to Congress, the state, the county. I mean, these numbers are off the chart because of what we do every day and how we do it. So I'm extremely proud of all the progress. I know this is my last term, and I know by 2024 that the main thing I want to do is leave the town better off than the way that I got it when I became mayor. And I think we're doing that. But I appreciated that question, and yeah, it goes back to opportunity changes everything. So a lot of these things that are happening today, a lot of the initiatives that I push are happening because of that opportunity that changed my life at Miami-Dade North Campus. And I really appreciated that opportunity, and I appreciate you. You got my stamp of approval to do what you're doing as president of the campus there. I could tell you I appreciated the way that you even talked about how it's your passion, right? A lot of people are like, I got here, I'm the president, I'm making money, I'm doing good, but it's really about your passion.
So, Mayor, I want to end on saying you're one of those success stories. And I can tell you, I can see how this city has grown. I've been at the North Campus for several years now, and I've seen how this city has developed. It was a trailblazer when it was built. It continues to be a trailblazer. And I think the information you're getting back from the surveys of your community are evident in even your housing pricing. A lot of people probably moved from here to Pembroke Pines when it was new and it was growing, right? And they're probably all looking back at each other. You know what? I should have never left Miami Lakes.
Oh, there's people coming back.
Exactly,
There's people coming
right?
back.
And they're saying, wow, that same house that you should have had before that I sold for this price, now look at how much. And that goes because we're all looking at how could we move in? How could we get there? Because that's a city that I want to be a part of, right? And that's because of the work you've done. Like you said, it takes a village, and you understood that, bringing that consensus together and trying to give your vision. So congrats, Mayor. Thank you for inviting me. Know that North Campus Miami-Dade College is here to serve this community, and anything we could do to partner with you and help you out on whatever endeavor you're trying to kick off, know that you have an open door policy to our campus.
All right, thank you very much. And that's Fermin Vazquez, the president of Miami-Dade College North Campus, doing great things. Make sure you check them out. We're going to keep partnering with them in the future. Log on next week on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll see you then.